Today is a very, very interesting event because we are in year 2024. Definitely, the year of the dragon will change a lot in people's life, and I hope it will bring you changes with us because we will be happy to see you here and serve you and continue your journey to Canada with us.
今年是一个很特龙年的话，我们希望在我们最近的时间，通过我们的帮助，能够把你带到加拿大。
So we start this presentation, as I said, dedicated for China. We have clients from China, and we have clients who landed and happy here and traveling between China and Canada. And I would like to emphasize before we start that program that we discussed today is for business people. But this is a business program that will make regular people from all walks of life, engineers, teachers, artists, to give them opportunity to immigrate to Canada as business people.
OK，那我们很好，那我们现在开始讲座。那我们今天里面有来自我们很多中国的客户，我们也有很多的中国的客户来到加拿大落地，并且很快乐。那么也有在中国和加拿大之间旅行的一些客户。那在我们开始之前，我们想要强调一下，我们今天的这个项目是针对商业移民。那么这也将使这种商业移民的计划将能够帮助到哪怕是普通人，来自各行各业，比如工程师、教师、艺术家，让他们有机会能够成为商人，移民到加拿大。
Before we start, I would like to express my understanding of your situation right now. Many, many years ago, me, myself, my family, Tina, her family, we moved here, and we also immigrants of first generation. And definitely we understand your fear, your concerns, and your anxiety sometimes. We will try to make your journey to Canada as smooth and as easy as possible.
在我们开始之前，我想表达我对你们现在处境的这个理解。在很多年前，我的家人，还有 Tina， 还有你们的家人，我们都是移民到这里，我们都是属于第一代移民。我们绝对理解你对目前的担忧和焦虑的恐惧。那么我们尽可能的会让你的工作可能轻松。
Okay, let's start. People move to Canada, and it can be complicated. At least from the first sight, it looks very complicated because we have 80 immigration options available. It's easy to get lost, and people face complexity. And we actually presented the way that people stand because every person probably facing 2-3 options out of 80.
OK，移民是一个非常复杂的工作。那这里在加拿大有80多种移民的项目可以选择，那很多人可能就会迷路了，不知道到底哪一个项目是最适合自己的。我们在这里来展示你根据你的需要的你的方案。
Definitely one of the ways, traditional ways for students to move to permanent residency, and many people of young age, understandably, parents send them here to study and then obtain a study permit. And that permit is okay, but you have to be absolutely careful because the transition between studentship and residency is not that easy.
许多的学生和非常多的年轻人先移到加拿大读书是一种传统的方式，那父母送他们来这里学习可以理解的，他们通过学习许可以为这样就可以了，但是你们必须要保持警惕和小心，因为临时签证和永久居民之间它的过渡并不是那么想象的那么容易。
Most certainly, people who do not qualify for express entry because points are very high, and usually people older than 28, 29, it's hard for them to qualify for anything.
那对很多的人来讲，超过29岁上的话，他们就不太容易。
We will explain 4 major programs that can bring people to Canada from China.
我们来解释一下有哪些人可以4种方法来移到加拿大。
Those programs are self-employed, Quebec, and startup visa.
这里有4种：自雇移民、创业签证移民、省提名、魁北克的投资移民。
Okay, for self-employed, you have to be either the artist or involved in cultural activities for at least 2 years. For athletes, same criteria applies. You have to have experience of competition at higher level. And basically, if you can, you have to show that you manage to live on that income. You have survive on that self-employed income.
那么自雇移民必须是艺术家，或者是参与文化活动2年，或者是参加一些体育活动的运动员，他们必须有非常高的竞争水平的竞争经验。基本上来说，你要证明你能够通过收入能够靠自己这样的来生存。
And also, you have to consider that lately the program becoming very long and require a lot of investment and a lot of business planning. It's all becoming more difficult for people of art and culture because they're not business people, and other people don't qualify.
那这个项目最近变得时间的越来越长，并且需要大量的投资和大量的业务的规划。那么对于很多艺术家和一些做体育的人来讲，这些变得非常困难，因为他们本身不是商人，而其他人又没有资格。
My bottom line approach is if you are not recognizable personality, celebrity in sport, art, culture, movie, theater, don't try, you have other options.
如果你不是一个艺术家，如果不是一个演员，不是一个歌唱家，不是一个运动员的话，那么你就不要考虑这个项目了。
Well, for selection criteria, definitely you have to meet point system. See, this is point system. Experience, education, age, language ability, and adaptability. So technically you have to fit certain criteria.
那他的选择的标准的话，那要有经验、教育背景、年龄、语言能力和适应能力，所以最重要的是你还要有非常相关的经验。那么这些你都要满足这些要求，其实它也是有打分的。
For PNP, it's different. Criteria are different, but it's even more and harder and more intrusive qualification scheme because you have to be absolutely careful when you apply for PNP because you're going through double immigration, provincial level and then federal level.
那对省提名的计划的话，那它实际上它是比那个还要更难。为什么？因为你要经过两个层面的考核，一个是省的层面，一个是联邦层面的话，当然它也有它一定的要求，实际上是更困难的。
Don't forget that you have to invest enormous amount of money. Sometimes we're talking about $1 million, $2 million, because you have to invest and you have to maintain business for 5-6 years in the process.
忘记了做企业家移民的话，你需要投大量的资金。我们这里讨论的可能是100万、200万，而且你必须要有足够的钱能够维持你这个生意的运转。
What we found problematic for Chinese clients is that they cannot spend 75% of the time of the 5-year time in waiting in Canada because they have to go back and make money.
那么我们注意到了，对中国的客户来讲，他几乎不太可能花75%的时间在加拿大等待几年的时间，因为他们需要经常来回到中国去工作。
Also, what we found for our Chinese clients, source of funds verification is a very, very difficult task, and people sometimes having trouble to prove how they made money.
那我们发现，在我们中国的客户当中，还有一个很难解决的问题，就是他们必须要证明他们的净资产。这有的时候，他们在证明他们合法的收入的时候，也是有困难。
And also, because of ethnic cultural specifics, for Chinese clients to speak English freely, which is required, it's difficult.
其实他们对语言也是有要求，要有流利的英文。那对很多客人来讲也是非常困难的。
Quebec Immigrant Investor Program used to be very popular in China before it was closed 5 years ago.
那么魁省的投资移民在过去的话，在中国是非常流行的话，在它被5年前被关闭之前是非常流行的。
And we understand why, because people invest money passively for 5 years, waited for 5-6 years, and then move to Quebec, wait for money to be received back, and then move back to other provinces or back to China. So it was very annoying for the government, and government shut it down 5 years ago.
我们知道，对中国人来讲，他们投入一定的钱，被动的投入，在等待5年之后再把钱拿回来，再在魁省居住，再回来，对政府来讲，他们其实是不太喜欢的，很麻烦。
The current Quebec program, which opened since January 1st of this year, has this qualification structure, which is very difficult, and I will explain why.
今年的话，政府已经开放了新的魁省的投资移民，变得更加的困难。那么我会来解释为什么。
And I'm giving this information to you so when you're talking to someone and somebody trying to sell you Quebec, because it's easy, my job is to help you to understand that this is not.
那如果现在有人要向你销售魁省的投资移民的话，告诉你好像很容易，那我的任务就是来告诉你，不是你想的那么容易。
For example, the list of requirements is here. Language proficiency in French. You have to speak French, otherwise they will not accept you.
那首先呢，这里面的话，你要证明你要讲法语，而且要流利的法语，否则他们不能接受。
You have to prove that you legally acquired net worth of 2 million and more. And when they say legally acquired, they will dig into last dollar, last yuan you ever RMB you ever made and ask how you made it.
这里面他要求到200万的你的净资产的话，他们会挖掘到你的每一块钱，最后挣的每一块钱、每一分钱都要来证明合法性。
You also have to prove that you have at least 2 years of suitable business experience, and business experience is not for everyone. What if you're just a teacher or an engineer or technician or software developer or professional? You don't have experience, so you're not going to fit that expectation.
商业的经验，在过去的5年内，你必须要有2年合适的商业的经验。这对很多的人，如果你是一个老师，如果你是一个政府工作人员，如果你是一个 IT 的工作人员等等这些的话，你都没办法你是没有可能有商业的经验的话，是没办法证明的。
You also have to reside in Quebec. And for many people from China, if you don't speak French fluently or don't like that mandatory residency, you have to think twice.
那么而且你还要求你必须要住在这个魁省，那你要讲，如果你不会讲法语的话，你住在那魁省，你必须要深度的思考2次来考虑你是不是要住在魁省。
To qualify financially, you have to invest $1.2 million into passive government fund for 5 years, and you have no interest on that money. In reality, your money will be locked for probably 10 years because you have to wait for 5 years, and only after arrival 5 years of non-interest deposit will start.
那这里面的，政府要求你要投120万加元的给政府的话，你要在5年。那实际上你要把你的钱锁定的话，不光是5年，可能是10年，而且这5年是不计利息的，整个的过程大概你可能要10年的时间。
You have to have school diploma, and you also have to prove, very hard, but you have to prove that you intend to settle in the province of Quebec.
你还必须要有证明你的学历。更难的是，你必须要证明你要在魁省是真实的愿意居住在魁省，这个是很难的。
Bottom line, all 3 programs that I described are very hard to fit, and you don't have to, because we startup visa program.
那么你要看到这些项目的话都很难，你基本上不太可能。但是我们还有别的项目来代替。
Startup visa program appeared on the market 10 years ago in 2013, 14, the first files we processed. And last year, the government of Canada basically improved the processing of the program and added additional visas to be processed every year. It was, before last year, it was 1,000 per year, and now it's 3,500 per year.
创业移民从加拿大政府它加快了审批的速度，并且最早是在2013年开始，那现在到目前已经从去年2013年1000个名额，现在增加3500个，增加了3.5倍。
People from China can definitely pick some other program of startup nature around the world, but all of them work on individual level.
我们中国的客人的话，你当然也可以在选择创业移民的话，在世界其他的国家，但是你所有的其他的国家都必须是你个人的创业。
In all of these countries, startup visa, they call it startup visa, but you have to invest money, you have to build a business, you have to find local partners, and it's very hard.
那么其他的国家的创业移民的话，你必须要自己来开始投资前，其实是非常困难的。
And this is critical to understand. We process people fairly fast. We
那我
have results within 6 months to get